we'll give it a few more minutes, Ryan, or
All right, welcome. We are going to get started in about 4 minutes. So thank you for being punctual. And oh, my music is gone. Anyway, I'll try and get some music back for us. But yeah, get comfortable. We'll dive deep into it in about 4 minutes. And if you do have specific questions already off the top of your head, feel free to put it into the chat. And also, if you wanted to put in the name of your business or your organization, and if it's for profit or a nonprofit, because this training is valid for both. Profit, because this training is valid for both. All right, so that's been working. All right, so we can get started. It looks like the recording's good and the live stream is good. So welcome everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. So we work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage they're in and support them in creating a blueprint to exponentially grow their companies. And so I'm very privileged to be with you today and partnering with Tim Frey and Hospice Group, being able to walk us through the different types of training that they offer, which includes customer service and franchise readiness. And the beautiful thing is that there's actual grants to cover the cost of this training. So if we're going to put our employees through this training to really amplify our businesses, we're able to get 80 to 100% of that cost covered. So we're going to kind of do an overview today. And if this is something of interest, please make sure to touch base with Tim and follow through with getting the certification and the training. I will leave it in your hands, brother. I am got my pen and paper ready to go. So thank you everybody for being present, and take it away, Tim.
Thank you, Ryan. Can everyone hear me? A good thumbs up. Awesome. Welcome. Yeah, this is a pleasure to partner with Ryan and ACBN. I've long been inside of the corporate world, and I've now want to transition into helping our Black community, because it's important that we leave a legacy behind. And when we start looking at the different businesses that we run, we all feel that the money or our marketing is the most important thing to get out there, to get people into the doors. But we forget about training. And that's one of the things that we lack when it comes to competing with the people next door to us. The other side, that they do training, they have a budget for training. So we decided that I wanted to bring my team to the Black community. And thanks to Ryan, we are starting through ACBN, and hopefully we could spread across Canada through our community, as I have been doing this for 30 years across Canada in the corporate world. So, Customer Service Certification Course, ACBN, and TFIT. TFIT stands for Timothy Frey Inc. training. It's been, I want to make sure that it's different than my Frey Mall Hospitality. I've actually opened up restaurants, but TFIT is one of the leading hospitality training program companies for restaurants and bars. But with some of the programs that we're doing, like customer service, we want to be able to hit every sector for customer service, whether you're a dentist, whether you're a person doing research, or that's here, it doesn't really matter. You have to deal with other people. So it's important to learn the customer service. I'm the founding partner, Tim Frey, and I've been more than 35 years of experience in the field. One of the lead facilitators. We have other facilitators that work with us, but I'm the lead facilitator, especially for customer service, because it's such passion for me. By harnessing my life experience in the hospitality industry, I can now impart hands-on training to thousands of professionals. And since the mid-90s, I've been actually working in various executive management positions, and have been involved in launching and staff training of hundreds of corporate hospitality locations and thousands of staff across Canada. Since COVID hit the industry in 2020, I've continued to remain active in delivering virtual training sessions on the various facets of hospitality industry, focusing on customer service and franchise readiness for businesses. So, why businesses need and deserve customer service training? I'm going to try to get through this pretty quick, because I want to have these info sessions as more of a back and forth conversation, because we need to understand, and I want to hear from everyone why we need customer service training. So, about the certification course, this course has been curated around the most fundamental aspects of customer service in our industry. The course also structure comprises of the specific models chosen and designed to serve the professional needs of any staff in the most optimal manner. Also, the underlying theme of the course is focused on understand the human behavior and expectations better to deliver a delightful customer service experience for all the customers. And the course will ensure that participants receive 360-degree knowledge and skill sets to provide better customer service across all modes of interactions. For example, face-to-face or online, and especially telephonically. Awesome. On a successful completion of the 3-day course, one second here, of a 3-day course and seminar, participants will be able to deploy their skills across various dimensions of customer service, including how to service customers, optimizing the guest experience, implementing loyalty programs, reflective listening, call review, sensitivity training, social media management, and communication in crisis situations. Okay, here's a course outline. Tell me if I'm going too fast. Am I going too fast? Any questions? You're okay? All right. I don't want to go through every single actual module, but there's actually 3 days, 2 days of learning, and then third day of certification. There's 8 modules. So each day has 4 modules. Day 1 has customer service policy, customer service basics, deciphering the customers, and customer service skills. And then we send you home and give you some case studies to go and take a look at. Day 2 has 10 behavior attributes you can control. It also has problem solving, telephonic customer service, and how to handle temperaments of customers. Once again, we send you home with activities, videos. The third day is for a case study, fish philosophy. And if you know what FISH stands for, we go through the video, we talk about it, how we bring everything together. So the goal for day 1 is to help the attendees in becoming more courteous, attentive, and helpful towards the customers. Understanding the right tonality and mannerisms of communication, yet articulating and understanding the customer in a better and structured way. Finally, the skills are imparted in this module. Modules will help the attendees to adapting effective ways of verbal and nonverbal communication. That's a goal for day 1 for those 4 modules. Day 2, the goal is to help the attendees handling situations with ease, clarity, and patience to drive the conversation with customers in the most professional and pleasant and productive manner. Finally, we aim to impart intuitive methods to the attendees to handle the situations when customers aren't calm and empower the attendees in handling customers' temper better. You guys all know that. When you go into a restaurant, you go into a dentist's office or health space place to get a clinic, sometimes, the person who feels that they have a really priority over someone else gets really angered. And then watch how the people on the other side deal with it, and sometimes not trained to deal with an angered person. So the goal for day 3 is to show all of the core fundamentals in action. So through a video case study, we summarize the 8 modules and answer any questions the attendees may have. Finally, after a quiz test, we will award each attendee with their TFIT customer service certificate and badges, and empower them to put in practice what they have learned each and every day going forward. Any questions? Everyone's good? What to expect after successful completion of this course? The new mindset and refurbished skill sets. At macro and as well as micro level, the course will ensure that participants go back to their workplace with a completely new approach towards customer services. Their actions, conversations, mindset, and skill sets would reflect empathy, clarity of thought, better listening capabilities, fluid communications, improvised crisis management skills, plus many more attributes to serve the customer better. This is one of the biggest things I find people ask. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. I have my business and they're so busy, trying to stay in business. They go, how do I pay for this? To train, I can't train. Cost. So most SME and large corporations have built-in training budgets. If everyone understands that, most small, medium enterprises and larger corporations, they have built-in training budgets. I think that's another topic on its own of our businesses not understand that we need to actually have this as a budget in when we do our forecasting. Unfortunately, the majority of our community businesses are not able to compete with the larger corporations or other SMEs. And I say other SMEs very loosely because most of our community, their businesses are not SMEs. We are less than SMEs because SMEs are 500 plus employees. Most of our community businesses don't have 500 plus employees. So imagine trying to compete against someone who has 500 plus employees, who obviously, if you have that many employees, that means your revenue is very high. And it means you can actually go ahead and do training budgets. So we're competing against them, keeping that in mind, to stay in business. So if you are one of the business owners that can and are competing with a training program in place, then you're awesome. That means you're doing well. And I'd love to actually meet you. Okay. For those other owners, there is financial help. And that is the COJG, that's a Canadian Job Grant. And in Ontario, it's called the COJG, the Canadian Ontario Job Grant. But Saskatchewan has one. So does Manitoba. So does I think it's New Brunswick. I think New Brunswick has one. I think also BC has one, but their service providers not called it's called something different. The BC training. So they have different service providers in different provinces that do the Canadian job grants. Just keep that in mind. And right now I'm focusing on not only on Ontario. I want to help all of Canada, but I'll work with Ryan, to find out those service providers, and that you guys, whoever's on from another part of the country, like Dwayne, I think see here, he's from New Brunswick. We'll find a service provider in New Brunswick that we can use for sure. So what is the Canadian Job Grant by province, and how does it work? The financial options. So the Canadian Job Grant is a program that combines federal and provincial funding to subsidize 80 to 100% of training for private and nonprofit organizations. Approved funding is granted on a first come, first served basis, and each year's funding coincides with the government's fiscal year of April 1st to March 31st. So get that in mind. April 1st, the service providers got all this money and they have to use it for the training. So therefore we are now 4 or 5 months in of their new fiscal year. So we have a great chance of getting approved, you know what I mean? To get training done and training support. So keep that in mind. April 1st to March 31st is when they actually do their fiscal years. How do I apply? How do you apply for Canadian Job Grant? So each province and territory has its own process, but through our company, TFit Hospitality Pro and ACBN, we can help you with the application. So what we're gonna have is get all the information from you, and my team will make sure we input that information and you get the call from a service provider. Hopefully Ryan afterwards could tell them how it went with him for his detailing nights. But I think that's a process when he gets called by the service provider to complete any other details they might have been missing. But we will help you take care of that. Who is eligible to apply? The Canada Job Grant invites any applications from employers in private and nonprofit organizations. The program aids employers in training new hires and upgrading the skills of their existing employees. How does the application and approval process work? So here's how it works. There are 4 steps to the Canadian Job Grant process. First, the employer, yourself, will identify the training needs, which is TFit customer service, let's say, or our franchise readiness. We also have a supply chain management course, certification course, and we have AI certification course. And next year we have multiple courses coming. But we're concentrating right now on the customer service because we feel that's a huge need in our community. So you identified us first, and then next comes the application process. So you work with ACBN on ourselves and our affiliates, and we fill out the forms for you for the application. After the application is approved, 20% of what you agreed upon is paid to the training company by the business, and then the training takes place. And following that, the proof that the training was completed is required, and 80% of any remaining reimbursements for the funding are sent to the business to pay the training company. So let me repeat that again, because when I first heard this, I wasn't sure if I understood it. I didn't, and I do now. So I want to make sure everyone understands how it works. After the application is approved, whatever it's for, let's say it's for, let's use a number, let's say it's for $1,000. That's been approved, but obviously when you start doing staff training, it's much more than that. 20%, $200 of that has to be paid to get the training done. But the $1,000 has been approved by the government. So that you know that the training's done. Sorry, let me go back. The training's done, you put the 20%, and then the government pays the rest to you to pay for us for the training. So there's where the support comes in. So I want to make sure that's clear, that 20% is paid by the actual employers. Now, there's certain circumstances where they will pay all of it. That's I think individually we go through and they look at the circumstances and say, you know what, we'll pay all of this, but that's something that we'll go through with the service provider, and you have to actually answer questions with them. But I want to make sure everyone understands 20% is what we're looking at. And now if we can at some point, right now talked about this, get that 20% covered, that's what we're looking at also. But we want to make sure everyone understands that, you know, the most that they're probably going to be paying for is 20% of whatever they need trained for their staff. All right. The rest of it's covered by the government. Go ahead. Sorry,
I
Ryan.
did see a hand go up. Is it Shayna?
Oh,
Yes,
Sheena.
that is. Hi, good night.
Hi, Sheena. Good night.
I just wanted clarity just to understand what you had said. So 20%, of course, is to pay your employees for, of course, the appropriate training which is needed, whatever your business is. And 80% goes towards you for funding the business with regards to further training. I just want a little more clarity just to make sure I understood properly.
Yeah, no. So what happened is, oh, sorry, Ryan, you want to actually take that?
Yeah, so based on the cost of the training, so the training's $1,000 to now put your employee through the customer service training, for example. 20% of that $1,000 would be almost paid up front. Oh, and enable that. So 20% would be paid from the employer, and then the other 80% would come from the grant. So usually you'd have to pay the entire amount up front, and then you get the grant to reimburse.
Yeah.
But you're actually only obligated to pay 20%, and then the rest of it is covered from the grant. And so if you're getting the full 100%, then that 20% you paid, you would get it back. But sometimes it's only 80% they cover. But yeah, so that covers the cost of the training.
Okay, so I understand. So 20%, I would, for example, like myself, would have to pay that upfront, and the 80% or maybe whatever 60% or whatever is going to be allotted to me will come from the grant.
Right, exactly.
Okay, thank you for that clarity.
No.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Yeah, I'm trying to be transparent because when I first heard about this, I didn't understand that either. So I want to make sure every time we do info sessions, everyone understands that. And keep in mind, I'm saying that as a worst case scenario, and we're going to try our earnest to help get that 20% covered also. We're going to try. I'm not saying it's going to happen. So I want everyone to understand that as business people, I understand the plight that we go through of trying to just have a budget for anything in our business. So if we, over the period of time, could get someone to help us with that 20% also, then that's what we're going to do. And we're working on that also. But keep in mind that training is necessary. You need it. And you might only have to pay 20% of the cost, which is still awesome. All right. So there's companies that I work with right now that are not in our community, but I want to offer this to our community also, that would basically bring me on as the actual training company, if that makes sense, because they're always hiring, they're always letting go, and they bring me on as a training company. So if you would like T-Fit Hospitality Pro to be a part of your business on an ongoing training then program, you know what I mean? Then at Timothy Frey Inc., we can talk to you about self-funding options spread over monthly payments to meet your goals. All right. So don't hold back to move forward based on financial needs. Some people have the budget and can do it. Then they could bring on my company and say, okay, over the next 12 months or 24 months, let's make a contract and we'll always be there to help train your staff. But obviously, it's something that you pay us monthly going forward, which other companies do that a lot. You always have a third-party company in there doing their training. Like, once again, this is for those who can do that. I'm just giving options out there for those who can do that. All right. So who are we actually helping? So, like I said, over the last 30 something years, I've worked with a lot of different companies like Surcorp. If anyone knows Surcorp restaurants, if you guys know Alice Fazoli's that turned into Scatterbushes, or Canyon Creek, or Jack Astor, some of them, I've been helping them, training them. Kira, which is now The Recipe restaurants, one of my main restaurants over the last, I would say, 20 years before Wayne sold it to Kira. Milestones was my main thing. I opened up 10 milestones in Ontario alone, and went across and opened up milestones in other parts of the country. And then Swiss Chalet, I worked with a master franchisee, and worked with all their staff and trained them. Fairmont Resorts, I worked with them. 4 diamond restaurants in the Fairmont Resorts. You can imagine the training there. These guys are kind of stuck up because they make so much money. When you're having $1,500 bottles of wine coming at the table, and you do 2 or 3 of those, you can imagine how much money they make in tips. So they're very well-to-do people. So that was challenging, but it was great. I have great friends still from there. And Hockley Valley Resorts is another one, and many, many more that we done. But most recently, within the Black community, we did detailing nights with Ryan Knight and his staff. So Ryan, if he wants to talk about that later on, he can. We did that. We tested it out. I know our community can use this. It's really important for us all to have training with our staff. So, certification and recognition. What does this give you? 30-something years, 35, 38 years, I should say. I'm really dating myself how old I am. 38 years in the hospitality industry. You get a name. I try to keep behind the scenes, but you get a name. And having this badge on your resume, having a certificate, and going to a job and saying, yes, I've been actually certified by customer service or franchise readiness or technology integration, it will go a long way if you're in this hospitality industry. Somewhere along the way, I've worked with, trained, worked for, hired somewhere, and it's a small community, even though there's tens of thousands of people across Canada. So someone will sit there and say, I know that guy, I know that name. So I feel that I can actually bring at least something to your staff or your kids, or any older people that actually want to relearn, because some people won't or older, to have this certification badge that they've been actually certified in customer service is very important. So upon successful completion of the course, the participant will receive the TFIT certificate and a digital badge, which they can share and flaunt on their resume and social media. All right, did you know that 90%, Martin, I think I told you 86, but it's 90% of North Americans use customer service as a factor in deciding whether or not to do business with a company. 90%. So that means 1 out of 10 people might, if they come back to you, might. That depends if they need you. But 9 out of 10 decides on that customer service. If you give bad customer service, then 9 out of 10 people are not going back to your establishment. That is a fact. So imagine that. You're wondering why you're not doing well, or why your door, it just seems to be like, it's a door. You ever walk to your door and say, is the door locked still? Because no one's coming in, right? I had some customers do that, check the door to make sure it's open because no one's coming in. It's not because maybe your product's bad. It's not because maybe your food or whatever it is, your clothing doesn't look good. It's a lot to do with your customer service, how we treat the customers. So keep that in mind. We want to treat people how they would like to be treated. We need to. That is a must in our community, and we don't have that. Martin, go ahead. Your hand's up.
Yeah, I was just saying, like a training budget, this type of training, customer service, it's a critical part of your marketing budget, of your operational marketing budget, correct, right? You put it in as part of your operational marketing budget, you will see it move the needle, right? Right. It's kind of like hand-to-hand combat. This is how you keep a customer. That's why It's attached to things like loyalty programs, those types of things. Those are technological ways of extending customer service. I just wanted to kind of make that a piece because it was almost like a critical missing piece, right? How important it is within the operational marketing of the company.
That's so correct. Thank you for that, Martin. You just hit it on the nail. Nail on the head, sorry, that it's attached to loyalty programs. So customer service doesn't start and end with someone coming into your door and leaving your door. Keep in mind social media, you know what I mean? They go home on their phone. You got to keep in contact with that person. That's customer service. You know what I mean? Attached to it, always. Out of sight, out of mind. Sorry, Shayna, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I wanted to know, because you said this is a 3-day course. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
It's a 3-day course, right? So what is the cost of the course, and is it like, where is it accessible? Like, is it accessible through payment? I'm assuming there's a payment towards this course.
Yes. So thank you for asking that. So it's $32.95. $3,295, sorry, $3,250 for the course. Like I said, and 80 to 100% of that is paid by the government. This has all been accredited by the government, and because it's been vetted, you know what I mean? The courses out there that charge a lot more for this, I decide for our community, I want to bring it down. Ryan knows what I went through. I try to bring it down to keep it for our community. So, because you pay tons and tons of money, just hiring a staff costs you over $4,000 hiring a staff. So imagine hiring a staff and then training the staff. So we try to keep it down. Now, joining ACBN is the most important thing right now. So you sign up through ACBN. You become a member of ACBN so that we can continue to support your business progress and share ideas and resources as you certify all your staff for customer service. We want to make sure that we don't just certify them, certify you, and 3 days later, you're on your way, you're gone. We want to make sure that you have the support afterwards. I'm talking about even physical support if we can. You know what I mean? To go in there and watch and see what's going on. So you join ACBN and then register for the TFIT program from there. If you want to have the financial part of it done, the financial part done, then you fill in all the financial information, and we start the application for you.
Oh, so you said 80% is covered by, it's subsidized by the government.
Yes.
Am I understanding?
So you register
so therefore
for
I'm paying
TFIT.
20% of the cost.
Well, once they actually approve the whole invoice of the cost for how many staff you have, we've got to go through the application, find out how many staff you have, make sure the eligibility is correct. And once they approve that, the service provider, then only when they say, yes, we'll cover this, then 80% then has 20% then has to be paid then, and we start the training. Only after they approve it.
Okay, so you have to register first.
Yes.
Complete. So if I sort of want some guidance to complete the invoice, I don't think it's anything complicated, but just in case, if I would want guidance to complete the invoice properly, should I contact somebody to do so in terms of just filling out the invoice, like the amount of employees I have, etc.
So what happened is, and I'll tell you this right now, for the month of August, because majority of the training starts September 5th, but we are doing stuff in August also, but it takes a few weeks to go through the service provider. So what I would say to you is join ACBN. A lot of the stuff you don't have to do yourself. Join ACBN. You know, that's easy to go in there to, you see down here the link. And then once you join ACBN, register for TFIT. And there'll be a link there. Ryan will have a link there for them to actually click on it. And once you click on it, you'll go in and fill out the information about how many staff you have. All that information will be there for you to click to fill out. Once that's filled out, we'll start the application for you ourselves. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
We'll go through and do the application for you. What will happen is once a service provider is chosen, they will contact you for any other information, just to verify stuff.
Okay, sure. I thought that's what I was saying. I thought I was doing the application and pressing on forward.
Not at all. We want to make it as painless as possible for you. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that whatever we do, and as we go through this process over the next couple of years or so, we want to make sure everybody has a chance to come in and train their staff. Because even when I'm not sure, Shayna, if you have staff, but I'm not sure how much turnover you have if you do have staff, but you know that you're going to be hiring again the next term or the next year or the next spring. Yeah. So therefore now you're going to want to keep doing this training. So you want to be able to, we do this smoothly, we can get it done pretty fast, and the money could be there to help train you. We want to be your training budget. You know what I mean? To
All
help you
right,
with
and
your
I'm
staff.
seeing I'm seeing below on this slide where it says customer service at timothyfree.com. If you have any questions regarding anything, we're able to email you.
For sure. For sure. That's why I have it there. You know what I mean? But if you follow this process, and we can actually send you this information, follow this process, and then if there are any questions you have, customer service at timothyfree.com.
All right, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I'm not sure if anyone else has any other questions. That was it for me. I want to leave it open, Ryan, for any questions.
Yeah, for sure. We can keep an open floor, and
or just discussion. Doesn't have to be questions.
Yeah.
Just discussion about how and what do they think of the customer service in their sector of their business, and how what do they need? What support do they need? You know what I mean? Besides just cut the certification. I like to actually discuss that. Does anyone have any thoughts on customer service in their sector for their businesses?
Yeah, good question. I'm curious, Horace, you're more in the nonprofit space, right?
Yes, I am. Hi, Ryan.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, man. So I am definitely in the nonprofit sector.
Yeah, so the orgs that, because you work with multiple orgs, I think you mentioned, like, do they typically do training for their staff, or is that something that somebody internally is hired to do?
Okay, so well, for example, for our organization, we have a board member who has some experience with customer relations. She works at Rogers, and she's the executive assistant to the president, and she's a board member, and she gave us her high-level training. The difference with that is it's not designed for the nonprofit sector. Now, and I'm really appreciative of what you're bringing forward, Ryan, because the nonprofit sector has certain language, certain culture, and we're dealing with senior citizens, and we're also dealing with senior citizens from our community.
Yes.
And we're also dealing with the COVID effect, which means the lingo is very necessary. Seniors are not readily listening because they're seniors, deaf in one ear, hard of hearing, those impediments. And so training, and I'm really appreciate this training in that regard is really, really important. But we did have, last year, we did have some training when the COVID hit us really hard. That was helping us to augment our ability to be able to deal with the different issues that were coming forward. I think this will probably put us over the top once we're able to get through it.
Gotcha, makes sense.
Awesome.
And I'll share a little bit about our company going through it. And actually, ACBN should be signing up soon too. But Detailing Nights, it was interesting because we had been running our youth program for multiple years and never had, I would say, a robust customer service training. Usually it's just kind of me talking about my experience, but it really collapsed the time frame, like shortened their understanding of customer service, seeing them go through it, and then they were able to go to appointments on their own quicker because they understood how to talk to clients. So that whole shift in mindset to empathy and understanding the customer's needs and not being defensive. And some youth that we work with, they're not in school anymore. Some of them are coming out of detention. So nobody really talked to them about customer service. So being able to now introduce it to them early, as I've seen the benefits and how they're dealing with clients. So, but that, it was typically something that, one, I couldn't afford, and two, I didn't even know this type of training really existed. So now we've been able to plug them in.
That's awesome. Cheyenne has a question.
No, it was that's okay. There was a comment where you were saying with regards to customer service in your like respective or business sector. So for example, I'm in visual arts I'm a visual artist for 10 plus years. And what I've noticed is that there's a totally different dynamic when you're dealing with businesses within your culture versus out of your culture. And the gentleman, I believe Marlon, I don't know if I saw his name correctly. He touched on something with regards to culture. And I do agree, because sometimes relating to others who are not similar with your culture that is entwined with business practices, not necessarily being lackadaisical, they may struggle to relate in such a way. So what I've noticed is that like dealing with me in visual arts, I sort of have to maybe explain a bit more with regards to those who are not within the Caribbean or West Indian culture. At the same time, not lessening my value of the cost of my work and why artwork costs, a hefty amount sometimes depending on the production. Versus where within the community, it's a matter of people deciding, well, do they want to pay or do they not want to pay? And I have seen it within my field here, especially in Toronto. And I've seen it even in other fields I have worked in that were not related to mine. And one thing I noticed is communication and speaking to people. That's a big thing I noticed. Like, I worked in a skincare company for like about a couple months. That was before the pandemic. And I had noticed that there were other persons working in the store. They would feel the need to talk down to other people that they assumed were not at a certain financial disposition because they looked a certain way or they dressed a certain way, when they actually had a grand capability to purchasing a lot and producing a lot of sales. And one thing that my management had said to me is that I don't speak down to people, and I didn't feel the need to code switch or speak a certain way. So that's something that I really want to take in mind, especially with customer service, that you could maintain who you are and you could still relate to the person, but bear in mind that culture is going to play a role in how you interact with people.
That is such a great point, Shana. Thank you so much for that. I just want to say something to that, where one of the best companies in the world for customer service is Disney. I'm not sure if you guys ever been to Disney before, but as soon as you walk onto any part of the land that Disney owns, everyone that is working there is in character, and their customer service is impeccable, because that's what they wanted. They said, as soon as you walk through that door, when you put on your whatever outfit you are, doesn't matter what you're working there for, you are in character, and customer service is number one. They are the best company for customer service. So whether you're from Europe, or you're from the Caribbean, or you're from South Asia or Canada or North America, they also take that in consideration. That's why they're doing this. They're taking this consideration that there's going to be different people from different areas of the world, that you have to treat them all the same. So that's why I like what you say, Shana. Sometimes we don't understand, oh, that person's from this country, we could talk to them a certain way. Yeah, but we are all trying to get the same market share when we're here in Canada. So we got to understand that we have to have a unified way of dealing with customers. And in customer service, there's a unified way. A way you talk to them on the phone, the way you actually communicate them online and emails, the way you also face-to-face with them, whether it's a fun interaction, or it's a very heated interaction. There's a way to deal with customers, not just because I'm from the West Indies and you're from the West Indies, I gotta start talking patois or Bajan or whatever it is hard. I just want to still be mindful that there might be other people in the space around that is from here. So we gotta actually be the same way always to everyone. So thank you for that, Shana. Any other questions? I just want to say that, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone always. Ryan, thank you so much. I also want to say that this is a conversation that we need to have all the time. So we are going to have this every 2 weeks info session, but I want to make sure that I'm not spending all the time. We're at 7:15, but I want to make sure that I do a half-hour presentation, and then the rest of it's everyone else. And let's talk, let's still be in communication with each other. ACBN for me is where we need to all be gathered around, especially for customer service, and then spread it to all the other associations that we can. CBCC, BBPA, BBABC, ABC, you know what I mean? Futurepreneurs, foodpreneurs, everyone, you know what I mean? Supporting Black charities.
And there was a question here from.
Sorry, Depars. How you doing, Depars?
But just before Depars, one sec, Depars.
Yeah.
It was asking, in our community, pricing is always an issue. How to respond to customers that always complain about price?
Well, so pricing as far as service or products?
I think that's products or service. Well, products. Is that right, Andrea? Or I guess like whatever you're selling.
What you're selling. Well, if you're competing, if your next competition is selling it for the same or more, that's where that's how come Walmart always says we'll beat our competition. So when you're going to go and complain to Walmart, we'll beat our competition. They always push it back on what's happening outside. So if you're taking it personally, try to equate whatever you're selling, and you should do it anyways, with what your competition is selling. Therefore, now you're putting you're actually putting it on the customer to be arguing against the product as a whole everywhere. Because they don't like the price of the product anywhere. I don't like the price of your car. Yeah, but the same car is selling down at Mazda for the same price. Oh, I don't like the price of Mazda cars. You know what I mean? It's just not you now. It's the actual product. So if you are now selling it way more than the next door, then you need to address that by saying, you know what, I'm sorry. Did you see it somewhere else? You know what? Well, let me look into it and see what I can do to help you. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of putting it back to them on what's happening outside, not just have it on you personally in your establishment. If that helps.
Yeah. Depars, you can go ahead, and then Horace, I saw your hand up. Go ahead, Depars.
Yeah, I'll just be real quick, guys. Tim, how you doing, man? It's good to hear from you. Good to see you, Ryan. I'm glad you guys put this on. I see a lot of people in my community doing podcasts, and I just kind of want to throw this question out there in case they're thinking about it, because I'm thinking about it too. Would you be able to apply this type of understanding towards a podcast, given that there's metrics behind that, whether you're scaling it through Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, and the fact that you're helping out a bunch of people at one time? Would it be possible to get this type of understanding into a podcast business?
Now, are you talking about doing a service through a podcast? Or are you talking about using the customer service as to help people in the podcast? What
Correct. So in a podcast, you may be delivering a topic. However, that topic is a serviceable item to those who are listening. So I'm just trying to see it from a bigger perspective as we're looking at social enterprises, that this would be a viable tool.
Of course. So it's funny you said that, because you can see the Client Whisperer there. So there's a bunch of us, myself personally, with Jay Martin. If anyone knows Jay Martin, there's Rob Renford, Chef Rob Renford, and Andre Anderson. We're doing the Client Whisperer series. You know what I mean? Which is a roundtable talking about customer service, talking about all aspects of our training in a community. So we are doing a series, not a podcast per se, but podcast also works. The parts, but we're doing actual series that's going to go to TV and YouTube. So podcast does work though. You're right, it can. Does that answer your question, or you good?
Yeah, boss. Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
Appreciate
it. There was another hand up. I'm not sure if Horace had his hand up and took it down.
Hi, I just wanted to say, with respect to service.
Yes.
In the Black community, generally speaking, when you're offering a service that you're charging a fee for, sometimes the established community wants to come in and purchase that service at a lower rate. But as part of the established community who are offering the same service, they never go in and ask for a lower rate. For example, our agency provides home care services that we charge a fee for. And once the caller, who's generally from the established community, found out that we are Black, we're Black driven, Black led, Black managed, they always want to hit the price down. One of the things that we've been emphasized that we want to keep the price as it is.
Yes.
Because we are a part of a community that provide the same service. And so you can't go into, for example, Baycrest or Bayshore and ask them to knock their prices down. Why do you come to us?
Yes.
So we offered a series of training how to deal with that question. Oh, can I pay you instead of $35 an hour? Can I pay you $25 an hour? I'm so sorry, ma'am. The price for this service is set at this rate. But there's also a way to say that so you can actually get the business.
Yes.
So products and services are important, and as we market our services to our community, I think we should stick to whatever the margin is. Whatever is a point of sale that for other organizations, other groups.
Correct. So can I ask you, Horace, what's an example of what do you say to that person who says I could get better service at or better service price over at Baycrest, for instance?
We emphasize the importance of our quality of staff, or efficiency. We direct them to our site where people are raving about our services, and we do an assessment of the information we're receiving, and we can probably say, you know what, here's what we can do for you. We'll pay the HST for you, but the price remains the same.
Gotcha. Got it. So can I make a recommendation? And you probably already know this. I used to work at Baycrest way back. I'm a nursing degree, and so my mother was in charge there. So I would always say this in our community, and that's to any sector. And it goes back a little bit to what I talked about with Walmart. I would say, you know what? Here's what I do. Like you said, here's what I do. This is what we do well. Now, if you could take the same quote and go to Baycrest and find out if what they charge for it, and if they charge lower, I will match that. Yeah. But they'll usually go there, say this is what they want, what you've given them, and it'll be way higher. Way higher. Right. So what happens is they come back down and say, you know what? I just didn't like the way they talked to me over there. I'm gonna So you basically let them have an easy out, and you save your reputation in your company by saying, you know what, we will match that if you can go to Baycrest with what we're gonna provide you for this and get a lower price. Definitely. Yeah, I've done that before with hotels and with banquet halls, because they come to us with a quote for a wedding. A bar mitzvah came to us with a quote. We gave them a quote what it's going to cost for everything they needed. And some communities, and I'm not going to say the community, for the bar mitzvah, the community, they want everything for their 13-year-old. And so one of the invoices came to $72,000 for what they wanted, right, for their bar mitzvah. But I said, you're welcome to go down to Nick down Liberty Village or Liberty and find out what Nick would charge you for this. You know what I mean? They went down to Nick. Nick told me, Tim, you sent something to us? I go, yeah. He goes, damn. He goes, I gotta charge them almost $100,000 for what they want. Oh, well, do what you got to do, Nick. You know what I mean? So, because all he knew was I just referred someone over to him. So they came back and we got the $72,000 contract. Simple as that. So.
And I did see another question come in. I noticed many people now depend on customer reviews. What are some ways to get them to leave reviews besides giving away something?
Sorry, what are the ways to get them to leave reviews?
Right, because I think sometimes people
give them great customer service. That's our issue. As simple as that. I know we say, look, as soon as I leave a spot, if someone's done something great, I'm on social media. I had the best server tonight. I had the best person who helped me at the dentist's office today. That you got to just give that great customer service.
Have you seen companies that are purposeful with how they get reviews? Because yes, you are more diligent in saying I'm going to go and leave a review, but sometimes if I'm prompted, I will go. Usually I might not do it. So have you seen any companies do it well that they prompt people?
Yes. So for instance, when everyone now has one of the courses we talked about technology integration, and a lot of companies now have their actual iPad at the table. Therefore, now as they're taking orders, they can get the person's emails and phone numbers, and also at the table telling them to follow the company wherever you're at on their social media, right? Because now you're collecting their information by getting them to participate. So once they do that, as soon as they do that, the manager or the person who's in charge of local marketing, you know what I mean, will go ahead now and immediately that night or the next day contact that person, say, thank you so much for coming in, and hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you enjoyed the product. Hope you enjoy the service, whatever it is. He says, I'd love for you to give us a review or call us and tell us what you thought of the service or the product, bad or good or bad. So someone will follow up immediately, and that's usually the local marketing person internal that will follow up. But the whole company, staff, and everyone collects that information, and it goes into the POS system, that goes into their emails collection, whatever they have, their HubSpot and whatever they have.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I know we're coming to the end here, but if we do have time for one more question or comment, otherwise we can give you 5 minutes back to your life.
Yes.
The floor is open.
And thank you guys. And once again, thank you guys so much. I want this always to be a conversation, because these questions and answers are important. You know what I mean? This will separate us from our competition. And the funny thing is, I've had this talk so many times, talking to a staff of 100 people in a brand new place opening up, talking about our competition. How are we going to beat our competition? So I'm sitting here telling you guys, this is a start. ACBN, TFIT, this is a start, and we're going to go across Canada and get every 25,000 businesses and their staff to actually get together and do something well, and that is customer service. That's going to be our number one thing. I'm telling you right now.
Karen has a question, guys. Karen has a question.
Okay, Karen, how you doing? Miss Karen Stewart.
Hi.
Karen, you're not. Karen doesn't know too much about computers. Go ahead. Sorry, just like me.
True. No. Okay. Let me see if I can get into a better internet area. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Karen. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I have a question about customer service. First of all, thank you for having this. This was awesome. The customer, sometimes within our community, I find that customers are incredibly hard on their own, or people that they have that they're very familiar with. I had a woman who got a box of fresh fruits and vegetables, avocado, breadfruit, callaloo. And she said to me, she says, she was very disappointed with her box because everything in her box was green. Now, I can't give you a black avocado. I can't give you a soft avocado. I have to give you an avocado that's green so that it'll ripe within your space. What do you do with a customer like that?
Well, look, for me personally, I apologize, and I'll say I'm so sorry for that. And how would you like it then? If you tell me how you would like it, what you want, then I'll actually go ahead and try to make sure the next box is exactly what you want. So I would just ask them, how would you like it?
And you see, that was a question we asked her. So how would you like us to, what we asked her, what would make her happy? What did she want us to do for her to make her, how did she want the fruits and vegetables?
Can I interject there? So right there, though, you've just actually put her back up by saying what would make you happy. That's a negative connotation towards a way of diffusing something by saying, so what would make you happy?
I said that wrong. I said that wrong.
What would make you
asked
happy
her what,
instead of how can we actually make this to your, what you need?
And she said, and her response was, when I did ask her that, her response was, oh, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting everything to be green. Okay. All right. And she's not going to use this again. And I'm like, okay. Oh, well.
So are you asking, how can you actually get that customer back then? Because you can.
I can. I can? You think so?
Of course. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I love those challenges. If someone walked into my restaurant and they were hitting people or mean and do whatever, that person by the end of the night is my good friend, and we're outside and we're getting into a cab and he's home, right? So that's always been that way with me for anything. So for her, what I would do is, it's like, okay, you heard her pain. Her pain is that it was all green. So what you need to do is you need to go and find everything that you gave her before. Go find it the best it could be. You know what I mean? And then put a package together, go to her house and say, I do apologize about this. Here, this is what you had before, and this is what it should have been like. And I hope you come back to us. Here you go. It doesn't cost you much to do that. You know what I mean?
No, green. But Tim, if you've eaten callaloo has to be green.
Yeah,
callaloo has to be green.
Once again, like I don't know what she had. My point is that whatever she thought that shouldn't be green, then you just let her know. Okay, well here you go. Hopefully this would satisfy you. You know what I mean? And hopefully you come back.
Options.
Here's some options.
Throw a pineapple in there,
or throw something else in there that's maybe that she might like. You know what I mean? The whole point is that you can get that person back. If they don't come back, then they don't come back. Then it's not you. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
If they don't come back, then you tried everything. You went out. You went extra way. Then you could, once again, they can say whatever they want to say later on. You tried. You know what I mean? You try to make it better for them. Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Karen. Always. All right. Ryan.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And I hope, Ryan, that we could do more of this question and answering and just coming up with other solutions to help each other out, because our businesses are important. It really is. So we need to make sure that customer service 100%. Is a huge part of it, right? So.
Yeah, and the fact that we'll be doing this every other week. Yes. If you have questions that come up, please join us again or spread the word. Let other businesses and nonprofits know this is a place that, one, you can ask questions, and two, you can actually learn about the training so that you can get that done for your staff. Horace, I saw you're unmuted. Feel free.
Yes, I just wanted to thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Tim. Excellent stuff.
You're welcome, Horace. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah,
definitely.
Much appreciated. So yes, have a great night, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everybody. Awesome. Take care.